event, and without wasting so much of your time, we will be having our Executive Director give her opening remark. Her name is Dura Oladipo, and she's Executive Director at Tech for Dev. So I'll be calling up Dura Oladipo to give an opening remark, and then we'll continue further into the program. Hi, Dura. Good evening.
Hi, Joy. Thank you so much for the introduction. Okay, welcome everyone, and thank you for joining the 8th edition of our virtual Women Techsters Open Day program. We're delighted and elated to have women from across Africa join us today to learn about how to pursue their technology interest or their interest in technology. Tech for Dev is a non-profit organization that creates access to decent work and entrepreneurship opportunities and platforms for Africans through digital skills, empowerment, and advocacy. Our vision is to equip Africans with digital and life skills that foster economic prosperity, financial freedom, and sustainable development. The Women Techsters is an initiative of Tech for Dev in partnership with Microsoft that aims to bridge the digital divide between men and women in the technology ecosystem. Through our pilot program, Nigerian Women Techsters, we have enabled almost 3,000 women between the ages of 16 to 40 across Nigeria to ignite interest in pursuing careers and businesses in technology. Driven by the success story of numerous women on the program, we carved a new ambition and a dream to replicate this model across Africa, providing more women access to opportunities to launch their careers in technology. Our dream by 2030 is to reach 5 million women in Africa by empowering them with the knowledge and skills to partake in the technology industry in Africa and the world at large. We believe that empowering change for women across Africa, as well as providing opportunities to access employment and entrepreneurship, will help achieve a 50-50 male to female ratio balance in the technology space. The Women Techsters Open Day is a virtual monthly program organized for women across Africa to learn about leveraging the power of technology to start and advance their careers and also create technology businesses and technology-enabled businesses. The Open Day is an opportunity for women to interact with other successful women who have built careers or businesses in technology over the years and who will share their personal experiences, speak about possible career paths and business opportunities, and help women appreciate the importance of acquiring digital and deep tech skills in this digital age. Finally, we would like to always appreciate Microsoft for collaborating with us to bring this initiative to life. And we look forward to impacting and providing and improving the economic realities of women across Africa. Once again, I would like to really appreciate everyone for being here today and as you commence your journey to becoming women in tech. I look forward to a wonderful conversation. Thank you very much, everyone, and right over to you, Joy.
Thank you very much, Dura. Thank you so much. So that was Dura, the Executive Director of Tech for Dev. She's very passionate about giving them opportunities, would help them access financial independence and create and provide them equal opportunities. And ultimately reduce. So again, welcome to the Open Day event. Yay! I hope you're really very excited because we have a lineup of speakers that are ready, to tell you that ready to go into details of how they ventured into tech, right? And so, in case you had any feelings or any thoughts before that tech was not for you, please have that off your mind from henceforth. You're going to be making a new confession and you're going to be seeing new possibilities that are available for you and possibilities of entering and venturing into tech and how you're going to build a sustainable career in tech. So don't worry, you're actually in the right meeting. And if you know anyone who registered for the meeting and is not yet here, please inform them to join the call because we already started. And once we start, we end slowing it down at all. I'm going to be inviting Natasha Caterpodis. She's a dynamic business leader with over 16 years of multidisciplinary experience, spanning strategy, business development, and leading cross-functional sales and delivery teams within the information technology sector. She's widely recognized as a top performer whose energy, innovative approach to problem solving and leadership capabilities inspires and motivates her team and even us. Relentless in her pursuit of empowering the next generation of female leaders, Natassia's passion is to inspire and educate women of excellence with a focus on encouraging participation in the fields of STEM, with most recently serving as an advisory board member of Dream Girls Academy, an anchor mentor of the Women's Leadership Program at Microsoft, as well as participation and speaker at various Women in Technology forums. Natassia is currently the Business Application Regional Sales Manager, responsible for leading the teams that will drive growth within Europe, Middle East, and Africa. She's going to be moderating the session with Lola. Lola is a digital and innovation specialist. Hi, Natasha, I see you. Lola has over 15 years of experience in the industry. She started her career as a software engineer at Investec Asset Management London, where she was responsible for the development of digital solutions in the asset management portfolio. Since then, she has worked in various capacities across different roles in the financial service industries in Europe and Africa at companies including Dreschner, Clearwater, please allow me to pronounce it the way I see it, Commerzbank, BNB Paribas, and First Bank of Nigeria. She's currently the head of digital and innovation at Union Bank Nigeria, where she's responsible for defining and implementing its digital and innovation strategy and roadmap with a focus on identifying new digital products, services, and fintech opportunities, optimizing customer experience across channels, and improving operational efficiency using technology. Lola received her MBA from Imperial College Business School, London. She holds a BSc in Business Information Systems, first class, from Middlesex University, London, with scholarship for outstanding academic performance. She has founded 2 startups, including Transstat.com, a peer-to-peer logistics platform. She's also founded Techstars Africa, an initiative that focuses on empowering students interested in starting a career in technology and equipping them with the requisite knowledge and support to study. She's also a faculty member at Elevate Global Academy for Digital Leaders and serves on the tech community of WIMBIS, the Digital Transformation Committee of JA Nigeria, Imperial College Enterprise Labs, and she leads Africa as a mentor. She's one of the 30 women profiled by FinTech Africa as one of the exceptional women playing leading roles in their various companies and shaping the FinTech sector in Africa. She recently wrote a novel called Lagos to London, and is a must get for everyone. It's a fictional novel aimed at inspiring youth to finding their own path and strive to be their best wherever they find themselves in the world as global citizens. Fun facts about Lola: Lola has visited over 30 countries. Yeah. And we're so excited to have her. She's going to be engaging in a fireside chat with Natassia, and I'm handing over to you, Natassia, to handle this session. Thank you.
Joy, thank you so much for those introductions, and good afternoon, good evening from my bedroom in South Africa. Amazing what lockdown does to us. It is such a privilege to be here with all of you. And firstly, can I just start with a bit of a finger snap for Lola, digital innovation specialist, author, entrepreneur, activist that promotes the advancement of gender inequality in the fields of STEM. Lola, if anybody ever says that there aren't enough hours in the day to do what you love, you are proving us wrong. Welcome, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I am so happy to be here. Honestly, I can't express how happy I am to be here. Thank you so much.
You are a formidable woman, and we are absolutely looking forward to hearing your story. So, Lola, I have got an entire list of questions that I want to ask you today. But before I get into that, I would love to learn a little bit more about you. So, growing up, who would you say had the most influence on the choices that you made on your life or for your life, and why?
Okay, thank you so much. And before I start, I wanted to also commend the Tech for Dev initiative, because I honestly wish I had this when I started my career over 15 years ago. I think it would have been much easier, even when I was in university and the only lady in classes to have actually had this sort of forum. So well done to the Tech for Dev team and everyone who empowers this as well. So for me, I would say that just going to your question, I think my parents actually had a very, very strong, they led us really strongly in terms of, I think, where I went or where I am today. I say this because my father was a petroleum geologist and my mom was a chemistry teacher, right? And I don't know, for those that know, teachers can be very, very strict sometimes, you know. And I think for my parents, education was so important. They've come from a background where, I mean, education was a differentiating factor between poverty and prosperity, right? And so they brought us up to believe that, look, if you can actually focus on your studies, then you will do well. And that was how they brought myself and my siblings up. There was a point when I was young and I didn't know what I was going to be. I didn't always know I was going to be in tech, you see. I actually thought I was going to be many things. And then I eventually landed up wanted to be a doctor. And so I actually applied, yes, I could have been a doctor. Wow. And then I applied I was in Nigeria at the time. I applied to University of Lagos and they gave me this course called, because what happens here in Nigeria, sometimes you apply for a particular course and then based on capacity, performance, then they give you another course. And so they gave me a course called Cell Biology and Genetics, right? And so I actually started on that course, and we couldn't just see where that was going to lead. And then my parents were like, oh, there's this computer science foundation course that was going to happen in the UK. And I mean, I didn't even know anything about computers per se, and neither did they. So it was a case of you just go, try it out and see how it goes. And honestly, that was that was a turning point for my entire life, because I then went on to do the foundation course. I found out that I was awesome in Java programming. Like, I was like awesome at it. I never would have known. And I decided to go into computing. So I would say definitely my parents, because that was a turning point for my life.
Oh, what a fantastic, fantastic story, Lola. And what I really love about what you've shared is how curiosity, being curious to learn something different and something new propelled you to explore a career in technology and look where you are today. Now, that being said, we are quite eager for you to summarize your journey of becoming the head of digital and innovation at Union Bank Nigeria, starting out as a software engineer at Investec Asset Management London. What happened in between those 15 years? Because we're on totally different continents.
So I think for me, so I'll pick up from where I stopped. So I got into the UK and I started studying computer. I knew that it was something I loved. And you're right in saying that, you know, it actually took a lot of courage. You need to be curious. If not, you know, you could miss out on opportunities that could change your life. So I actually started off and I started enjoying the course and realizing it was something I wanted to do. And so what I did is, in my third year in university, there was an option to go on a placement. And by that, I mean, it's like, I think it's also called an IT, I think industrial placement, or I think some people call it an IT, where you take a year out to actually work and while you're in school. So I decided I wanted to do that. And I actually got a placement at Investec Asset Management. It's a South African bank. I'm sure Natassia knows that, yes. And I think for me, that was where my first job in software programming started. And I think one thing, and of course, I did Investec Asset Management, then I moved on to Dresdner Kleinwort in London as well, where I became a graduate. I started off as a graduate there. Consistently, I think for me, all through these years, it's really been about exploring, learning, growing, not trying to cut corners in any way or go too fast than I can. So I'm very, very curious as well. I take bold steps. If I believe that it's something I can do, then I go for it. But it wasn't always that easy, as I said, because it's a male-dominated industry. There were times when, you know, it was hard. You go for a meeting at work, and I remember the ratio was like 1-13. So I'll be one lady, about 13 men. And then you're struggling to actually find your confidence and speak up when you need to speak up. I don't want to go too much into that for now, but I would say that, and I'm sure you'd ask me about that too, but I would go back and say that I think for me, it's been growing consistently all through the years. There were some key decisions that I made that ensured that I was able to climb up the ladder and not fall. And I can talk about that a bit more if you want at some point. Yes.
I would definitely love to hear more about that. And Lola, the statistic that you mentioned is extremely concerning. And you shared that you were 1 in 13. And we know that if we think about African women, the representation is even lower. So we have a lot of work ahead of us in order to bridge the divide. But now that you touched on that topic, let's go a little bit deeper into this. So given that we have roughly about 75 women on this chat, and I'm sure that more will be joining and more will listen to the recording, from your experience, what would you say are the 3 most important factors that women should consider for a successful career, specifically in the male-dominated industry of fintech?
Thank you. And I think this is a very, very good question. I'm eager to answer. And I think I can think of at least 4 that I'll value. So just bear with me. I will be quick through them. I think the first thing I have realized over and over again in my whole career is that you need to know your onions. Competence is stronger than any other thing there is in the industry. And I cannot emphasize that more than I can. Like, I find that if you do the work, you know what you're doing, you invest in yourself to be better and better and to be the best if possible. It's so difficult for people not to notice you. It's so difficult for you to be, even when a promotion comes, for you to not be noticed. Like, it's hard. So I think for me, that in itself always speaks for itself. I would say in Nigeria, and especially in our kind of environments, sometimes people feel like connection is everything. Like, you don't need to really know stuff. You just need to get some connection. So by connection, it sort of means you just know someone who knows someone, and then they can just give you a job type thing. And I find that there's only so far you can go with a connection, because if you're really trying to go high on the ladder and you get to a meeting and you're not even able to respond, you have a meeting with your CEO, or he has external clients and they're asking critical questions, or you have an important job for your business and you're supposed to do it, and you go there and you don't know how. I mean, honestly, it's just no. So I would say that I usually say competence is stronger than connection anytime. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2 is you really have to be bold and courageous. And I think for women, that can be quite tough. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're soft-spoken most times, a bit calmer. And it's almost like, you go into rooms and men are so different. I mean, I've been through I've worked in different companies, and I've seen so many different things, In fact, I remember one of my workplaces, I felt like some of my male colleagues, the way they would refer to you, almost like you were like their wives at home, just, oh yeah, he's just, I mean, hush, hush, let's just, carry on. And you almost need to really say, no, I do have something to say. Can you give me a minute? Let me finish what I have to say. So, you have to, men are so much more different. Even if they don't have content, they put themselves forward and think about that later. A woman is like, oh, I need to be so qualified, and, until I'm so qualified before I can apply. And you
underestimate ourselves.
Absolutely. And then there are jobs that honestly, it's yours for the taking because you are the most qualified, but then you don't apply. So somebody who's less qualified than you gets the job. So, I mean, that's the reality of this. It is so real. I cannot emphasize. I've seen it happen so many times. So I would say that you really need to put yourself out there. You need to keep trying. You know, it's a daily thing. The more you go into those meetings or wherever you need to just practice and try till you can speak up and put yourself up for opportunities when they come, because it's important to grow. So, and I would say that technology is not rocket science, but even if it was rocket science, we'll still rock at it. So, do you know what I mean? Like, we win anyway. Yeah. Then number 3, I'll be quick on this, is, you know, don't lose your identity, because I found that was something that was really, really difficult. If you keep going into you go into a room, you're the man, you're the only woman there, or there's just 1 or 2 of you. And it's like, you know, sometimes you're tempted to behave like a man, where you're like, oh, no, or start to be a, you know, fight, or, I just find that, or dress like a man, because that was something that happened to me. There was a point I thought, if everyone is sort of dressing up, I couldn't really wear a dress. I should just probably wear like a suit, because it just makes me fit in a bit more. And then I realized, no, I like dresses. I like nice scarves. So no, I'm not going to do that. This is about my content and what I can offer and bring to the table. So I am not going to compromise on that. And honestly, and I'm not going to try and be a man. I'm going to be the woman that I am. And honestly, you would find that there's so much beauty a woman can bring in a male-dominated industry. You wouldn't believe. I lead teams of men all the time. And honestly, I even think it's giving me more, it's made me better, and they enjoy it, actually, because it's a different feel, you know, it's a different touch. And lastly, I'll just be quick on this. It's really women supporting women in the industry. It's so important. I mean, you go into a room and there are only 3 of you or 2 of you. Men always speak for each other. They might not even agree. They'll be like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. And then, because we're not comfortable speaking up, you don't speak up. I think that if you're in a room with another woman and you're in those places, you should say, you know, cheer her on as well. If she's struggling, oh, yeah, you know, agree, jump on a point. Oh, yeah, I think that makes sense. You know, give her that confidence to speak. So I think those are some of the key things for me, I would say.
Oh, and that is phenomenal advice, Lola. And I keep thinking back to how you said you need to better on yourself and invest on yourself. And I'm looking at the many women that we have on this call. And I really just want to acknowledge that all of you have taken that first step, because by joining this program, that is exactly what you are doing. You are investing in yourself. And then the second point that really stood out for me was the concept of sisterhood, where you said that as women, we need to keep supporting each other. We need to break those archaic rules where we seem to be competing, and let's ensure that women have a voice. So thank you so much for sharing that. Let's shift gears a little bit. So you founded Techstars Africa to empower students who are interested in starting a career in technology. What would you say is the toughest challenge facing girls that are looking to break into the field of technology, and some thoughts on the solutions to overcome these challenges?
Okay, so I think, first of all, historically, right? It's always been that women or men were better at maths. I mean, there's been a narrative for Africa where, first of all, in fact, going to school for women, first of all, was a big deal. I have to say. My mother, even though she's just about 65, well, she's 66, to even go to school was a big issue, because they felt she was a woman and there was no need to train a woman, you see. Then we graduated from the point where, okay, now we can train women, it's fair enough. But then, I mean, they're not that technical, you know, men are sort of better at technical things. So women should sort of focus on the other stuff. And I think that has really been a big blow to women. And that is one of the reasons why we're here today. And what you find is that, and this is what I found from and this is why even Techstars Africa came to mind, is that, you know, there's a big fear that technology is so hard and software engineering is hard, or programming is hard. And so they're just afraid that it's something that they can't do or they would fail at. And then you even find that a lot of times, even till now, you hear people say, oh yeah, software, hardcore programming, it's still a bit hard. Maybe women should even go into more of design. And I'm like, no, do you know what I mean? Like, it's not hard. Do you know what? And I think if a woman wants to go into design, great, but not because software engineering is hard or website design is hard. So I find that there's a big fear that they will fail at it, and also not enough gender representation. So there's not enough people that they see that have done it. And that's a big deal, where there's not enough to aspire to be. It's rare. So it's like, I don't even see any women doing this. So we're more women in, I don't know, human resources or something. So, it's just going to be so hard. And that's the reason why I've mostly put my energy in this. In terms of possible solutions, one is, I think forums like this, Tech for Dev, is just fantastic. And even what we do at Tech South Africa, where we're constantly having sessions like this to encourage women, train women, give that confidence, that sisterhood as well, where we're all sort of helping each other out. I think, of course, even mentorship as well, and people like myself who have already climbed up, and even yourself, Natasha, coming out and really saying, you know what, you can do this. I did it. If I did it, there's no reason why you can't do it. And I think there are many other things we could do, but I think this is a good start. And I think we should definitely continue on. I think in the next 15 years, we'll definitely see a big change, in the industry.
That is wonderful, Lola. And again, I'm just reflecting back on what you've shared in terms of the only person that can place a limitation on you is yourself. And it's very interesting how you're so right. Society almost expects that girls are going to play with Barbies, and it's the men that are going to sit and build the puzzles and build the skyscrapers and the software development programs. But if you have that courage in yourself and that belief in that yourself, and if you invest in yourself, the sky is the limit, as you have illustrated. And I'm certain that many of the women that are on this call are going to go forward and do amazing, amazing things. So the third thing that really stood out for me was the pay it forward. You were the beneficiary, as was I, of phenomenal mentorship throughout our careers. So when you ladies get to that point where you have reached your aspirations and your dreams, like Lola is doing, pay it forward and share your experiences with those, because just one story can make the world of difference to somebody else's life. Now, Lola, I'm sure that you have encountered many challenges on your journey to get to where you are today. And you've already shared some of those with us around needing to really establish yourself in a very male-dominated industry. Is there one specific milestone that really stands out for you that you would like to share with us? And then also give us the story around how you overcame that challenge.
Okay, thank you. So I would say there were many milestones, as I've sort of hinted. One was almost losing my identity in the past and being able to find myself. But I think one that's not so far away would have been my move back, because I was in the UK working and then moving back to Nigeria. And not just even in that, but trying to move into more leadership roles, you see. So I'd already reached a point in my career that I knew that I had to take it up a notch now. I needed to develop myself even more so that I could get to my next level. All right. And I think for me, that was a big point. Now, what had happened was I was actually in the UK, and I came to Nigeria for, my husband had come to Nigeria. And then I thought, okay, it was worth me coming as well. There's this program that they do in Nigeria. It's like a youth service where you serve your country for a year. And it's just really putting yourself out there. Some people teach and just giving back before you start onto your real careers. And this is usually for the younger people who just finished. But as a requirement for people like myself who were outside the UK, we still needed to do it. So I came back. And so I'd already moved back to Nigeria, but I had the dilemma that I knew that to get to my next level, I needed more, okay? So I thought, okay, I think I need an MBA, you see. I really felt that I probably need an MBA. I'm trying to get into more leadership positions, executive positions more, and grow. How do I do it? And of course, with a lot of research, I found that, of course, an MBA would be an ideal thing to do. And by that, I just want everyone to think that you really need to be deliberate about your career and where it's going. Many things don't just happen. So I knew I needed to do an MBA, but then I was a bit stuck because I'm married. My husband and family is here in Nigeria. I've moved. So to do an MBA, I literally need to move back to the UK and do it because I didn't want to do it in Nigeria either. Now, how do I do that? That was a big thing for me. I had to decide first that I really needed to do this. Then I needed to contact all my stakeholders. My stakeholders, when I say stakeholders, I mean my husband, my parents, my family, because it was not going to be easy to go back to the UK, stay away from family, my husband and co, and then, do this. But I knew I needed it. So I really had to get their buy-in and support. And then go back to the UK. I stayed there for like a year and a half by myself. And then I came back to Nigeria. And the thing was that in itself was one of the best decisions I made, because that was how I got my first role into head of digital innovation here in First Bank, which is one of the largest, in fact, the oldest and largest bank here. I actually got that role while I was doing my MBA in the UK. So in fact, it started paying off even before I did it. So I think for me, that was a big milestone journey for me. How did I overcome it? I think first of all was just realizing first I really needed to do this, and realizing that I needed support from everyone around, and then meeting them for that support. And I say this because, this is not a marriage class, but I know many women here, we have a set of peculiar issues where, if you're married, sometimes you can't actually, your husband may not support you, or, things like that, or you have your kids and all these things. But I would say you need to also be very deliberate about your partner. And if you are married, be able to really get their buy-in for your career. I've had friends who their wives went to Oxford and they had 2 kids and they supported them. The husband was with the kids. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So I think for me, that was a huge milestone for me. It sort of switched my career over, and it is one of the best things. It was extremely hard though, extremely hard, I have to say. But look at that now. For me, it's been so amazing.
Absolutely. And you're so right, Lola. When we've decided the path that we want to take, there are always going to be sacrifices. You had to make certain sacrifices in order to pursue your dreams and your journey, and having that support structure in place is extremely, extremely important. I've got a feeling that Joy is going to come on camera very, very soon, and there's still a few more things that I would love to hear from you. So the next one, Lola, so you worked with a prominent UK and Nigerian bank for years. What advice would you give to a woman who is looking to work outside of Africa? And what I'd love is for you to share an excerpt from your recently launched book. I did mention that you were an author, Lagos to London.
Okay, thank you so much. I recently launched the book, Lagos to London, and it was inspired by my own journey of leaving Nigeria with I didn't know anything, and then going there and being able to actually be successful, if I must say, over there. And I thought it's important that people understand this journey. It is fictional, so it's a couple of stories, but honestly, really inspiring to help you find your path, even if you choose to stay in the UK or come back to Nigeria. I think the book is a great guide. What helped me, I would say, in terms of success over there is, and I think before I quickly say that, one thing I want to say is that right now, for anybody in technology, this is your time, guys. I have to say it. In my whole career, I've never seen so many opportunities that need to be filled. I work in technology. We're constantly looking for talent. Okay, sorry. Yes, we're constantly looking for talent. We're constantly looking for people to fill those roles. So even the UK, there's a tech visa right now that they're giving out to people who are strong in technology. So there's no scarcity of opportunity. So what I would say for me was key to being successful. One is, of course, I mentioned it already, being able to work hard and be the best at whatever you're doing. Two is you really need to be exposed. You need to find out what is happening around all the time. You need to research. The amount of opportunities that have passed you by because you didn't research, honestly, is super. I think it's a lot. So I think that's a key thing to do. Another thing will be to network. I strongly believe in network and opportunities, like just to speak to people. You know, if I'm thinking of moving out and I know somebody who's gone, there's no reason why I can't just ping them and say, you know what, hi, I saw you did this. How did you do it? What did you need to do? And then they can tell you what's relevant and what you can do now to help you. So I would say it's those three things. Of course, working hard at it, being able to research, network, be focused. I think those are some key things that you would need on the journey.
Once again, great advice coming through from you, Lola. I just want to leave some time to see if there's any questions from anyone in the audience. So if you have a question for Lola, please feel free to put that into the chat. I am monitoring it. I did see a few comments asking whether this recording was going to be shared, because I believe that some of you have had some network issues. So the answer to that is yes. But as we work towards closing the session, please put any questions that you have for Lola, and I will read them out before we close off. Lola, whilst we still have you, tell me a little bit about some of the initiatives that you are putting in place to address the growing skills and gender gap between men and women in the tech industry today.
Okay. So some of the things I've made sure I put in place because of the gaps I've seen is one, Techstars Africa. What we've done is one of the key things that made me do this was because I used to go to different schools in Nigeria, like University of Ibadan, University of Ife, to talk to students, to encourage them in careers in tech. And I realized that some of the things that were causing their not coming to technology, of course, fear, also not enough information, and then not having the skills. So what we do at Techstars Africa is we ensure that we first of all have enough information. If you come on the site, you can see information around, you know, how to get into tech, what are the key things you need to do. You can see information around if there are webinars or things happening. You know, you can also find that information there so that you can connect with other partners that may be doing these. There's also listing on courses you can attend as well. So it's really a lot of information so that you can actually move away and move towards the goal that you're trying to achieve, which is coming into technology. I also work with a lot of organizations like, you know, there's Femtech in Africa. She leads Africa as well. I'm very strong in participating in opportunities that they have for mentoring young women who want to come into the field of technology. One other thing, in my bank right now, which is Union Bank Nigeria, we've set up a course. We set up a digital academy, actually. And this is for empowering people with digital skills, because even people working in the organization actually need these skills to be able to be relevant in the next 10 years. So those are some of the things that I'm doing at the moment.
Wonderful, wonderful. We've got some great questions coming through here, Lola. Let me start with the first one that came through, and this is quite a topical one for us right now. And I think it is from Florence. Please excuse me if I don't get your names correct, because they don't come up on the screen. How did you deal with imposter syndrome at the start of your career?
Okay, just 1 minute. I want to turn on the light where I am. Sorry.
Please.
I just realized it's getting darker. Okay. I think, to be honest, right, how did I deal with imposter syndrome? I would say it's turning up. You just need to turn up. Like, you know, imposter syndrome relies on when you feel like a fraud, you feel like, you know, other people are better than you, and, you know, you're not supposed to be here type thing. But I find that if you wake up in the morning with all those feelings and you still turn up, you just need to show up every single day. And of course, so one is showing up. Two is, you know, even motivation, inspiration, attending things like this where people are encouraging you, you're listening to other people's experiences. it's really, really a big help. I mean, if I could do it, if Natasha could do it, you know, Dimura can do it. Like, ladies, I mean, there's no reason why you can't do it. Like, you can do it 100%. So I think for me, it's just showing up every day. One other thing I would say, one key point for me in my career was when I would go to rooms where I'd be in meetings with a lot of different guys, and they will be speaking and their questions being asked, and I would have it in my mind that this is the answer, but I wouldn't say anything, you see? And then sometimes even talking over me, they're saying things that don't make sense, but I wouldn't say anything either. And then one day I just decided, you know what? I know this stuff. Like, I'm gonna just speak, you know? And that's what I just did. I just said, no. I'm there for a reason. So I'm gonna add value here. So it's really, I think those are some key things that could help, you know.
Love that, Lola. And I'm sure you also probably experienced where when a question was asked, you gave the answer, and then another man in the room would say exactly the same thing. And all of a sudden, everybody was acknowledging and commending his brilliant idea. Meanwhile, it was your brilliant idea.
Honestly. And even till today, I wouldn't even say those things still happen, but I am more assertive. So if I did give the idea, I would say, oh, actually, thanks for reiterating my points. Do you see what I mean? Yeah.
Great advice. Advice. So that's one way to overcome it. Another question on the chat, Lola. So you mentioned earlier that there is a plethora of opportunities available to women today in the field of technology, and that can be quite daunting. So Madonna is asking, what career path in tech would you advise someone to chase?
Oh, wow. That is a very, very difficult one, because I think we're all really unique in the skills that we have. And the only way to really find out what your skills would be to explore, okay? I can give you a couple of things. I mean, you may love, like just the way I found out I love software engineering, Java, you may, but we wouldn't know, or you may not like it. You know, there's design, product design, conceptualization and thinking. There's even business analysis, there's data analysis, there's AI, being an AI consultant. There's so many things that you may be good at, but we wouldn't know. And if I say, oh, you go on this path, then it might not be your path. So what I would say is you need to just look at all these opportunities. There's digital marketing as well. You know, look at all these different opportunities. Online, there's so much resource. Go there, see what these things are about. If you can take a short course or a free courses, find out if you like it. You know, as I said, this is the time for technology. Hardly any of all these skills, somebody is looking for them. So if you are good, you should not be short of a job, hopefully, when you're done. And I like that story in the beginning of the lady who gave her testimonial. You know, it's a testimony to what's happening out there in the industry. There's a shortage, and you probably are the missing piece. So try, explore, see how that goes before taking that path.
And that ties back to an earlier comment that you made, Lola, about being curious. Take these short courses. There are so many available. And by doing that, you will start figuring out what it is that you're passionate about. Because if there's one thing that I'm taking away from you, just one, is that your passion drives you. And if you find your passion and your inspiration, the rest will come to you easier, because everything that you do is going to align to what sets your soul on fire. Quite a few questions here on asks about how we can get your book. Where do we find Lagos to London, Lola?
Awesome. So you can get it. So the thing is, if you're based here in Nigeria, you can get it at www.lagostolondon.com. If you're based abroad, and I know there are different people from different countries, you can also get it on Amazon. I haven't quite figured out a way to get it to other areas that are not within the reach of Amazon. But I'm open to looking at that. If you tell me your location, we can see what we can do.
Fantastic. I'm sure there's a lot of us that are going to be interested in getting our hands on that book. I know that I certainly will be. Let me see what else we have in the chat over here. This is an interesting one. What are the factors we should take into consideration when selecting an MBA opportunity?
Oh, okay. Oh, that's a good one. I mean, I keep saying that the MBA changed me completely. One is you need to be sure of the school you're going to go, because I think that's really important as well, being sure that they would be able to give you the quality that you want, that you can afford it as well, because MBAs are expensive, ladies, to put it out there, but they're investments. They're actually investments. That's what they are. So I think that's one. There are a couple of things you need to do before getting your Gmats right. Not all schools require that. So you need to research, depending on what you have and where, you're located, then, that could sort of help you. One thing that MBAs are really good at is developing your strength for business. That's one. And also your network. So that is very critical. So you also need to be deliberate about, okay, what is it I'm trying to do? Where do I want to develop strong networks? In my MBA class, honestly, there were people from almost every single career possible, even in aeronautics. I mean, do you know what I mean? So it was really good in widening my thinking. Different locations as well. I think that's always good. So I think if you put that all together, you can think about, okay, where's the location? Am I going to be able to do it? Can I balance it with what I'm doing right now? Is the network going to be good for me? What do I want to get out of the MBA is very important, because you get to a point where you need to sort of specialize. You need to sort of know what that is. What I would say is you don't need to know it all to start an MBA though. Right. So when you start, then you can also figure those things out along the way, especially where you want to specialize. I hope that sort of answers.
It definitely gives some clarity. Lola, there was another question that came up on the chat where many people are wondering, how do you balance your social life, family life, social obligations with your passion for pursuing your career?
Okay. I like that there's something you said, which is passion, because honestly, for me, ladies, I feel like I'm living my best life. I have to say, I couldn't have drawn this picture any better for me. I love what I do, absolutely. And that is very, very important. And how I balance is one, I realize that I cannot at every time be 100% in everything. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not really possible. I have a very active family life. I have a very active social life as well. In fact, my husband turned 40 yesterday. It was a very big day for me. I mean, we had like a big celebration up until 2 a.m. But I'm here.
You look so fresh. My goodness, 2 a.m.
I'm serious. Even my voice, but I wanted to do this. I rarely turn down opportunities to do this because for me, it's so important, you see. So I found that you have to be able to prioritize. Oh my God. You see, when I was going to do my MBA, honestly, it was even tough. It was tough on my husband. I remember some of his friends were like, oh, your wife has abandoned you and left you and the family and all that. And it was hard, but I knew that at this point, it was a short time and the value was going to come back. I just needed a little time. So I couldn't be 100% as a family woman. So I had to just beg and say, look, please just support me. Do you know what I mean? At some point, you almost have to realize that you can't be everything. There are times like when I was doing my MBA, my social life went like from this to this. I just couldn't balance working, studying at the same time. It was like so hard, And I realized that some friends were getting upset with me. I had to send everybody a note saying, guys, please, I love you all. Bear with me. I'll be back. You know what I mean? Now I have that time. So a lot is also about communicating and realizing you may not be everything at once. You just need to plead with them to support you, whoever.
Oh, Lola, Joy has come back on camera. I knew that you and I would be able to continue this conversation for probably 3 hours. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us. Thank you for inspiring us, because truly The advice that you have shared, I am certain will resonate with many, many of us on this call. We can only wish you even more success moving forward. Keep representing the phenomenal women of Africa. Lola, thank you so, so much. Joy, over to you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Natasha and Lola. I feel like you should have like a whole day dedicated to you. I think we'll just like maybe switch it up a little bit and then just have one day for our executive level speaker and moderator. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed your session and I took out some key notes. You mentioned networking, prioritizing time. Really, as women, we really need to prioritize, as in knowing what's priority for us right now. I see many ladies investing into the wrong things, investing their time, struggling to get the wrong things, but get knowledge, get wisdom, like get a new skill, because you can never go wrong. Look at Lola now, look at her now, look at her. Girls, look at her. Who doesn't want to be like her? Like having a birthday party till 2 a.m. and coming up in a meeting the next day and turning it up, like, speaking to young ladies. I really want that, I want to live my best life like Lola. I want to be like her. But I tell you, it's not just wishes. You don't just have to wish to be like her. You have to put in the work right now in your youth. Now that you're still young, now that you're still strong. By youth, I mean you're still. Don't think you are old. No matter how old you are, you're actually still a youth, right? And you still can learn. Learning never ends, they say. As we go further into the events, kindly tweet your nuggets using the hashtag Women Techsters Open Day and tweet at Tech for Them HQ. We are on social media. Check the chats. The links to our social media channels will be posted on the chat. In case you're not following us yet, please follow us. And this session is being recorded. It's going to be uploaded on our YouTube channel. So search for us on YouTube, Tech for Dev. You see us on YouTube. Search for Open Day, Tech for Dev Open Day. You see all our Open Day videos, and then have a great day watching, because we've had speakers in our previous events that will also blow your mind. Okay, now we're going to watch a video, and I'll be playing that video shortly. And when I come back, we'll go into another session, so go nowhere. We're going to go into the industry experts panel session, and our speakers are on the call and they are waiting. They're actually ready to do justice to the session. So yeah, I'm sharing my screen. Give me a minute to do that. Great. Okay. Well, while we do that, shout out to my cohorts, 3 boot stars on the call. I see you ladies. I know you're on the call, and well done to you all. Thanks for joining the meeting. Yeah, I said I was going to shout out to you. And shout out to the fellows on the call. I can see you're already shooting your shots. Veronica, well done. Well done to you all, Women Techsters fellows and boosters. We'll be making an announcement shortly. So whatever questions you have, especially for those that are boosters, they will be answered on this call shortly. Okay, yeah. So watch the video and I'll come back shortly.
My name is Fatima Ahmed. I'm from Ilorin, Kwara State. I studied chemistry from the University of Ilorin, but now I'm a woman in tech. Getting a job in Nigeria is very difficult. After my National Youth Service program, I was at home for like 5 to 6 months, writing CVs, applying for jobs, and the highest I got was callbacks, which was very frustrating. I was talking to a friend about the difficulties of getting a job in Nigeria, and he was telling me about the opportunities in tech. Coincidentally, at that time, another friend of mine was telling me about how she went to the Nigerian Women Techsters program, where she learned how to code and build websites. Seeing what she could do, I was motivated to apply for the Nigerian Women Techsters program. The training was for 12 weeks. I learned technical skills, building websites, writing codes. I also learned soft skills, communicating effectively, working in teams. It made me more effective in what I do today. Coming for the training, I just felt that, okay, I'll just learn some new skills, then have to go back home to apply for other jobs. But during the training, I started getting a lot of job opportunities. And here I am today. I have a good job, and I am glad I took the bold step to come for the Nigerian Women Techsters training. I currently work as a technical support engineer at Expats, where I provide cloud-based solutions. I want to use this opportunity to encourage other young women out there who are looking for jobs to empower themselves with tech skills and take advantage of opportunities like this.
With partners like Microsoft, we've been able to train over 2,475 women in coding and deep tech skills across 12 states in Nigeria. And all this training was done for free. Over the next 10 years, we will train 5 million women across Africa by 2030. And we're looking for partners who could join us on this journey.
So did you hear the last statement? We're looking for partners who could join us on this journey. You might not be able to fund the programs. We have 5 million women to reach, but partner with us means inviting another girl to the next OPOD session, right? It could be as it's not little, right? That could be a right step in the right direction, and spread the word, tell them about the Women Techsters initiative, or share the flyer or post on your social media. That's a way to partner with us. Okay, next we'll be having another mind-blowing session, and I hope you're ready for what is coming your way. And this session is going to be moderated by Maudi Ramaboea. So I'll be reading out her bio shortly. She is a cloud support solution specialist at Microsoft, and as part of her role in Microsoft, she focuses on helping education institutions to optimize and better the ICT environment using cloud technologies. Maudi was recruited by Microsoft in 2016 to be part of the Microsoft Academy for College Hires global program that focuses on building leaders in young graduates from across the world. As part of the program, she had the opportunity to travel and work temporarily in various countries, including the US, United Arab Emirates, and Germany, as part of inducting and training. She graduated from the University of Johannesburg in 2015 with a BSc Computer Science and Informatics qualification. She later completed a postgraduate diploma in management from Regent Business School in 2018. After completing her undergraduate degree, she joined FNB Online as part of the FNB graduate program as a graduate test analyst, and later became a technical test analyst at FNB Online. She worked with the team that built the tested the FNB website, as well as the FNB app for the 2 years that she worked at the bank. Maudi is a passionate writer with aspirations of being a published author in the foreseeable future. We have 2 writers on the meeting right now. Yeah. She's passionate about women development and empowerment and is a mentor to young women in her life outside work. She has previously worked with the Dream Girls Mentorship Program, where she mentored and helped develop teenage girls into upstanding members of society. It's part of the Women at Microsoft program that focuses on mentorship and empowering women at work, and is a mentor at the Mentor a Matric Foundation and We Can Foundation, which focus on mentorship for matriculants in rural schools from Limpopo. She has recently become a certified life coach and NLP practitioner and enjoys coaching others on their personal development journey by giving them tools and inspiration to effect change in their lives. Hi, Maudi. So in case you need a coach, this is Maudi, please.
Hi, Joy.
Hello. Okay, so we also have Chioma Halim. This is an industry expert. She's a software engineer at Prunedge Technologies. She enjoys creating fluid web experiences. She specializes in front-end web development and has been involved in the development of software platforms ranging from a learning management application for Delta State, Nigeria, and electric documents management system for Oyo State, a case management and assessment taking software for the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, an employee management and payroll solution for Guarantee Trust Bank's developer platform, amongst others. When she's not coding, she enjoys writing technical articles on software development, and you can find these articles on her blog, audreyhall.com. audreyhall.com. Please, she'll drop that on the chat for you after the call. During the call. Margaret Kinyanjui is our second industry panel. She's a product manager at Hustle Sasa, Kenya. She's based in Nairobi, Kenya. She currently works and she has gotten to interact with a lot of tech roles and problems that keep increasing her love for technology. However, she fell in love with tech back in high school when she got a chance to work on her project and saw how brilliant her classmates and she were at identifying problems that could solve with little knowledge that they had, and ended up taking a degree in IT. When she's not working, she loves to read. Her favorite genre includes fictional, history, science fiction, and mystery. She also enjoys traveling and documenting her experiences. The best part is reliving those experiences. She enjoys organizing and decluttering, which interestingly has come in handy with her being within product management, and because you need to organize your thoughts, processes, and lots more. Well, we have a panel session, and I'm going to hand over to Maudi to do justice to the rest.
Thank you so much, Joy. Thank you. And, I'm glad to be here. It's evening time where I am, so I'm not sure what time zone everybody's on, but welcome again to the event.
Oh, Maudi, we miss you.
Yes, sorry about that. Can you hear me now?
Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Joy, for the introduction. It's always strange when somebody introduces you. It's like they're speaking about somebody else. You sit there and you think, am I that brilliant, But yes, thank you so much for that introduction. And, good evening to everybody who's joining us from, I don't know where in Africa you are and what time zone you're on, but it's 6 p.m. where I am, and I'm just delighted to be here. And, thank you again to Women Techsters for running these workshops, because a lot of young women across the continent wouldn't necessarily know about, the type of work that we have in this industry if, initiatives such as this did not start. And then just in a bit to get into it, I know, we are going to be pressed for time. I just want to say hi to Chioma and Margaret, and welcome to the panel. I really hope that you guys have said and thought well deep enough about what you're going to be sharing with the cohort of students that we have, as well as the friends of the program that have joined us on the call. I know that Chioma is a software engineer, and I'll just want to reach out to you right now and ask you to tell us a bit about your journey and how you started in this industry.
Hello, Maudi. You can hear me, right? I just want to make sure
I can hear you. No, we can hear.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, Tech, for having me. It's really an honor. Joy, thank you very much. Dirura, thank you very much. Okay, regarding what you asked me about my background and journey in tech, how I got started in the industry, permit me to just give a little context. So that I don't just go straight into the current. I'll just give a little context. I think regarding technology, I think I've always had a really early exposure. I had my dad's laptop. Me and my siblings, we played games with it a lot. We had computers at school. So in terms of using computers, we were always really good at that. We knew how to do. Sometimes we used to tell our dad, "Oh, okay," when he asks us, maybe how do I get to this? We're like, "Oh, Dad is just here. This, and this." So yes, we're always like that as kids. So that's for technology in general. Software engineering, I never knew I would actually get into it. I'd say I explored a whole lot before I got there. In university, I studied electrical and electronics engineering in university. So I think I can relate to people who didn't actually study software engineering or computer science or anything close to that. So at that point, I think I still wasn't sure what I wanted to specialize in. I was studying electrical and electronics, but it was a really broad course. Anyone that knows electrical and electronics knows that it has there are really different options. Power, there's electronics, you can go into communications, you can even go into robotics. So it also gave me a chance to explore. And I really explored. I tried out cyber security, I did projects on electronics. In school, I was taught about power engineering. So I really owed it to myself to really explore till I found my niche. So regarding software development, I'll say in the later years of my university life, I did an internship at the University of Benin. It has an ICT department. So my the field I was in, my exploration journey at that point was networking. So I said, maybe this will stick. Maybe networking would actually stick. Network engineering, not, I don't know. It's really a broad word so that no one gets the wrong idea of what I'm talking about. So it was more network engineering, maybe in terms of configuring routers, some field work, setting up internet access and all that. So I really wanted to know more about that. But I wasn't interested in that at all. Once I started doing the internship, I saw this wasn't it at all. So I noticed there was a small team in the University of Benin that managed their websites and their web platforms. So I think from there, I think that was my first point of contact to the software development world. They weren't building maybe very robust applications, but I was interested. I was really interested in what they were doing. So I started learning the basics of HTML, CSS, and a little bit of JavaScript. Even though I was learning that, I think this relates to some people here. I was actually very confused. This was the point where I was very confused in my career. There were so many people telling me what to do. Someone would come and say, oh, React is this. One was like, I just got a big job with Angular. One would tell me, oh, PHP. There was one person that built something on PHP and his startup blew and he got something $1 million. And you know us Nigerians, we like, okay, wow, let's jump into this, jump into that. Wow, you did really great in this. So I was confused because it was information overload. So I was jumping from one thing to another. And it really got worse over time. But I just had to sit myself down and just tell myself, okay, one thing after the other. HTML, CSS, JavaScript, learn that, follow along, build some projects. So I kept doing that. It was a bit difficult because I also had schoolwork and I was in a different field. So I just want to point something out. I wasn't enjoying web development at that point, but I couldn't stop. So just to point out to some people, you don't have to enjoy it at first. It's not, if I went by what I enjoyed, I would definitely not be here. I just couldn't stop. Like, I just wanted to tinker with it a bit more. I was like, a bit more, then I'll stop. But I just couldn't stop. So a really key point in my career was when I traveled. Sorry, there's a bit of noise in the background. I traveled to visit my friend. So I had to wait for him in a restaurant. He was running late, so I had to wait for him there. Then the head of engineering at a software startup met me at the restaurant. He saw me coding. I was coding while waiting for my friends. So he asked me, what are you working on? I told him at that time I was working on an app. So I told him about it. So he asked me if I want to do an interview with their company. So I said yes. I went on to the interview. By that time, I had personal projects I was working on. So I just came to the interview with a portfolio of projects. So it wasn't anything done of like what I have now, but my portfolio was basically a sheet with project links. That was all it was. So I showed him that, and it was enough for him to give me the job. Although I didn't end up going to that company because at that time I saw I was hot cake. So there were a lot of offers. So yes, and I just
Yes,
had
ma'am.
like yes. So at that point I really didn't really even have a portfolio. I just had a couple of projects that I did. They were not so great. They were just basic HTML, CSS, some sprinkles of other things here and there. So that's it, I'd say. So I think everyone can see how I went from trying like 100 different things in tech. They were all in tech, but they were like so many. I didn't know what my niche was. So maybe just wanting to build websites, like trying out CSS, JavaScript. But now I'm contributing to projects used by a lot of people. And technology has helped me so much because even my personal life, I can see myself sometimes. I'm like, oh, how do I make this thing easier for me? Write a script that does this. So instead of me doing this, and this, I write something once that helps me do this, and this every time I schedule it. So I don't know, technology just changes your way of thinking. So that's what my career has done for me. So I'm a problem solver. So I'm sure I think that will apply to everyone. So it changes your way of thinking. So I think that is all. Thank you very much, Ifoma, for the comments. Yes, that's it for me, Maudi.
Thank you for sharing that, Chioma. I mean, you've had a very interesting journey into software engineering, and I know some ladies are already looking at your website and they're commenting. I also just took a pic, and you know what, I love your work. But you know, when I look at your story, I see a lot of just, you know, when opportunity meets preparation, because, you know, a lot of the times we are waiting to find the next job, we're waiting to, I don't know, find the next best thing. But sometimes if you just prepare hard enough, when the opportunity comes, you find that you're at the right place at the right time. And, you know, just another thing worth noting about your story, similar to, you know, the executive speaker, Lola, I noticed that your debut into the field of, you know, IT was also a happy accident. And I reminisce a bit because, you know, when I look at my story, I also did not plan to be in IT. I had actually applied for a course in something totally different. And, you know, I couldn't get in because of space issues. And I ended up in, you know, in IT. And I say it's a happy accident, but I always wonder where I would have ended up if I'd actually gone through the other route and did, you know, a course that I thought I wanted to do at the time. But maybe just let's go over to Margaret and just a bit of intro, Margaret, in terms of what you do. I know you're a product manager, and I just want to ask you to just please give us a bit of what you do and just tell us a bit about your journey.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I am loving all the people who are speaking today because I feel like we are sharing the same journeys from trying and failing. Yeah, so basically I work at a company called Hustle Sasa. So but what we're trying to do is just build a platform that makes it easy for creatives in the Kenyan industry just to share their work. Whether someone is writing a book or just making music, it just needs to be as easy as possible. And pretty soon we're going to expand to the rest of Africa. And Lola, maybe you could sell your book on our platform too. So yeah, and before that I was at Andela. So there I got to work in different roles. I was a software developer, and that's where I found my way into product management. It was more or less like a happy accident, just like everyone else. But I did get into technology back in high school. So I did computers back in high school. And just out of that, I was a very curious person. And so one of the things that I saw was just the capability to just try to come up with solutions to the different problems that I was facing in school. And just for like my last project at high school. And then after that, it was clear to me that I just want to keep venturing into tech. And so I took a degree in IT when I was in university. And before like I could even fully complete, I just got an opportunity from the rest of the network that I was with, of my friends, to just get into a company called Andela, where they were just sponsoring people to just train them and just to become software developers and just to get into tech. And so that's where I sort of took double training, and it was a crazy hectic journey. Like I don't think I slept for like the first 1 month just trying to be a software developer, just excelling through the just to excel through the boot camp. So then after that, they were able to pick me up, and I just got to start on different roles as a software developer. So I worked in different companies within Andela, such as Service Analytics, etc. And then from there on, there was this little break that was in between me going to my next project, where me and my friends just sat down and we just wanted to come up with a solution to just make it easy on a certain process about allocating assets into the company. And so from that, us speaking, we realized that quickly enough that we needed to make this solution that we're trying to come up with scalable throughout the entire company and just bring more people on board. And that is when I got into product management, because out of the friends that I was with, no one wanted to step up to be the one speaking to the directors, to be asking for resources, for support, etc. So, and to plan for all that, you needed to have a clear way of thinking and just show the company that this is the solution that we have and it's viable because of ABCD. And so that is when I stepped into product management and then when I was at Andela, and that is where I fell in love with product management, because I saw what it means to think in big picture as opposed to just thinking about a solution that you just have. So that's my journey, and that here I am as a product manager in a new company now.
Wow, that's actually an interesting one, because a lot of the times, well, I'll speak for myself. When I started, my journey in university studying, I thought that, what, I have to code or there's no other career path for me. So I think it's just interesting to note that you could start as a software, developer or engineer, and you could end up as a project manager or a business analyst or a system architect. The industry is broad, right? And I think a lot of us don't know just how broad the industry is and, what we can end up doing, and not necessarily just be restricted to coding or doing software dev if, that's not what you want to do. And I just wanted to ask you, before we move back to Chioma, Margaret, what is the best professional advice you've ever received? If there was some pearl of wisdoms you could leave with our audience today, what would you tell them about your. I think you're on mute.
Yes, thank you. So I think I came to this piece of advice when I really, really needed it. I was just joining a new project. I was quite new. I was making mistakes. I was working with a technology that I wasn't familiar with. And my manager knew from before that definitely this girl has worked with all this technology, so she's really good. So I can place her on something else and she'll pick up easily and continue with the momentum. However, feeling like my manager already saw me in that lens meant that I wanted to hide that I am not catching up onto this new technology as quickly as possible. And so speaking to him after struggling for an entire month of trying to hide my flaw, he told me, you cannot keep hiding your flaws. If you hide your flaws, if you hide what you're not good at, you'll never improve from where you are. You need to ask for help. You need to acknowledge that you're not good at something. And then from there, that is when you grow. Otherwise, hiding it means that you will forever be bad at something. So don't hide your flaws. Ask for help. Ask for help.
Wow, well said. I mean, and how many of us can relate to that, right? Because, a lot of the times you find that you are struggling with something, but you can't even ask for help because you're afraid of being seen as, weak or not knowing, or, you sitting there in the corner thinking, if I don't figure this out, it means I'm not smart enough. It means I can't do this. And that doubt starts to creep in. And I think, for a lot of people, that's when the imposter syndrome starts to show up as well, where you're thinking that, what, if I raise my hand up, it means then my thoughts are being proven right. It means I'm not good at this, it means I can't do this. But I'm glad that you had somebody very early on who told you that it's okay to make mistakes and it's okay to actually step out and ask for help. And that could only make you better, right? Yeah, and then just maybe back to you, Chioma. What would you say helped you, just in terms of landing the role that you are in right now in terms of your career? Because I know we battle with unemployment, and I don't know about, the situation in Nigeria, but, in South Africa, we've got, about 60% of youth unemployment. And I know a lot of, the young people that are sitting here are wondering what can they realistically do to improve their chances of getting, jobs and making sure that they're active in the economy.
Yeah,
You
Maudi.
unmute?
You can hear me? Sorry, it's raining cats and dogs. So it's really
We
hard.
can hear.
Yeah, it's raining cats and dogs at my end. So You asked me what helped me get a job and my advice for women to becoming a software engineer, right?
Yeah, not necessarily just software engineering, but just in terms of what has set you apart or made you competitive in terms of, landing a role or a job in your field of industry.
Okay. Sorry, I can hardly hear you though. But okay. I'd say what helped me get a job was basically I feel even when you do get a job, this still applies. You have to be constantly learning and constantly applying what you're learning. I think you mentioned the quote of luck. The preparation means luck is when preparation meets opportunity, and that's actually true. You don't wait till you land, for example, that internship. You don't wait till you land that job. You keep working on yourself, learning whatever technologies. For example, I'm a software developer, so for me, you're learning technologies, you're learning concepts. It can be in any field, whether you're a UI designer, a product designer, actually, because for something like product development, it's really important. Maybe you have like a portfolio. You can show your work. It doesn't necessarily have to be a portfolio, but you can show your work. So you have to be constantly learning and working. So my advice for young women wanting to start a career in tech, I would say get started. You have the time, you can explore. There are different, I know there are different options. There are, especially nowadays, because I'm hearing so many new roles that I didn't hear before. There's, you can be a data visualization expert, there's data analytics, you can be an IoT engineer. There are so many options, so it doesn't necessarily have to be software development. There are so many options that can suit you. So you can also check things like social media, Twitter. Maybe you're not sure. Oh, you heard of IoT engineering. You are not sure what it's about. You can actually just search, or LinkedIn, like search maybe for hardware engineers, IoT engineers, that kind of thing. So you can try and connect to them, try and ask them questions of how they got started, because that will really help you in newer roles that probably you're not sure how to scale it. So my
Absolutely
advice.
right.
Sorry.
I was just saying, you're correct in talking about constantly skilling,
Yeah.
right? Always skilling and always going after opportunities. Don't sit back and wait for things to find you, but you need to be able to just skill yourself and make sure that you go after the opportunities that exist. And thank you for that, Chioma. And then I'm also just looking at time, but maybe back to you, Margaret. I know that you did a track for women Techsters where you were just talking about product management and just teaching them in this fellowship program. So I wanted to just ask, in your experience, what do you think are the barriers that are actually preventing women, especially in Africa, from acquiring technical skills? And how best can we just get over those barriers to make sure that women are more included in this space?
Yeah, absolutely. It was such a fun experience walking through the ladies and being a facilitator at the Techsters program. And so one of the things that I noticed, and Chioma was able to highlight this when she was just giving her introduction, I think one big barrier is that there's no clarity in the amount of roles that are possibly there within the tech field. Someone could be in software development. Just look at our panel, like there are entrepreneurs, like there's so many roles within tech development, and it's unfair that someone has to go through a million and one of them just to find something really fits in well with them. And I feel like it's a challenge to each and every single person. If you yourself as a woman in tech, you feel like I have identified my niche, it's very important to go out into your networks and speak about this, whether it's in your small organization or it's just within the network of the ladies that you have. You're going to eliminate someone else's barrier if you're able to speak about your journey and just give clarity about the journey that you're on at this particular moment. And then another barrier that I saw was definitely a lack of resources. And so that this lack of resources definitely means that only a certain number of women, so maybe women in the urban area, are able to access the tech roles if they ever get to it. If anything, so women out there in the rural areas will never be able to get into tech. Will never be able to get into tech because one, they do not have reliable internet. Two, they do not have laptops. So the solution to this, I think, is do you have an extra laptop? Just join a program like Women Techsters who are looking to gain laptops. So just are connectivity issues to some of the people who are going to be then accessing to the rural areas, if you look at it like that. So these two things was things that I constantly saw as I was teaching the different women that I was interacting with in the program. And like it was quite an interesting bit, like on the first day of the orientation, where Joy and like the rest of the organization were able to speak to all these women about all the existing roles that there are in Women Techsters and all the different programs that we're having. And then everyone was able to see, this is where my skills fit in, this is where my passion would fit in, and then they would be able to jump onto that depending on the new exposure to the information that they got. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, Margaret. And you speak very well about exposure, right? I feel like a lot of the times people are not even aware that these opportunities exist. But also, apart from awareness, it's also resources, like you said. Some of us come from the rural areas, and it was only upon moving to urban areas or the cities where we got exposed. And it is still unfortunate that even today, somewhere in a rural area, there's a child or a young woman who does not know that she could still pursue a career, or she could turn her life around. And maybe, in closing, Chioma, I would like to just come back to you and just speak a bit about skills, right? The field of IT is constantly evolving. There's always a new technology coming up. There's always something to learn. How do you stay relevant?
Yeah, Maudi. You just have to learn it. That's what I would say, because I recently worked with a particular framework, and the next thing, my team, like a few months down the line, it's 3 months since I used that framework. They already released a new version, and a lot of the concepts I'm used to have changed. So that's why I said you have to just keep learning, keep growing. You can't be satisfied with what you already know or what your job requires. Some people, they get into certain jobs and they just stay there, like in terms of application and knowledge of what they need, the concepts around their work. Basically, you can't just stay there. So it's like, do I see myself as in a particular role? For example, you want to be a software engineer at this company, maybe this popular company, or at a firm. What do these people know? What do the people at this company have? What is the entry barrier? What do I have to know? Do I have to upskill my skill in a particular way? Or maybe you did a different course in school. Let me use software engineering for example. So the software engineering field, people that did something like computer science, they know some certain concepts that you would not know if you came from a background like architecture or something. You might be quick on your feet to learn some things while you're at work, but there are some foundational concepts that you need to know. You will only get by not knowing them for a while. So I'd say that you just have to keep learning. And I know someone mentioned something about imposter syndrome during the first session, Lola. So about imposter syndrome, sometimes it's not just about you motivating yourself. Everybody gets imposter syndrome, but you should actually look, is this valid? Like, what do I allow your inner voice to talk to you? Like, why do you feel you're getting this imposter syndrome? Or do I lack a knowledge in this? Because what it really is that sometimes you know some certain things and another person knows some certain things. So you can learn those things. Yeah, we all get that. Everyone gets imposter. You can't know everything, but you can try to know some certain things. So rather than just only motivating yourself and be like, okay, I'm not an imposter. Sometimes it's not about I'm not an imposter. You should actually check, are there some things I really need to know in this field? Because you can't progress in some fields without knowing some particular things. And motivation can only get you so far. You have to put in the work. That's what I'll say.
Absolutely, Chioma, you're right. I mean, somebody said, motivation is like taking a bath, right? You have to do it every day. But also on the other hand, what do you have to back it up, right? If you are charged with a project, if you have to be working with a new tool, you have to put your hands in the water and make sure that you're just learning, right? If you don't reinvent yourself, if you are not constantly learning and evolving, then you stay behind. And, like you said again, the field of IT is constantly evolving. So you just always have to be at a pace of, a rapid pace of learning. And you know what, it's easy to do that right now because we live in the information age. I mean, we've got all these tools, we've got the internet, we're able to access all the information, at the snap of a finger. So it's not like you have to wait for a book to be published and you have to go to the library and read. So the information is at our fingertips. And, even with initiatives like this from Tech for Dev, where they're constantly looking to just empower young people and just going out of their way to make sure that people are in the know, just in terms of this industry. So we just have to commend them. And then just lastly, Margaret, just back to you. I know that, you're a woman in tech, and I'm sure you've met many obstacles like a lot of us. We're dealing with male dominance. We're dealing with people who think we're not technical enough or that a woman can be technical enough, like Lola said. So I know you've probably faced obstacles of your own. What are some of the things that stand out just in terms of your career? Some of the obstacles that you've just had to overcome purely because you're a woman and not because of anything else.
Absolutely. And I think Lola actually touched on this when she was giving out her point. I think one of the things that you will see is it's okay that we have programs that are enabling us to get more into technology. And so if you keep listening to the people who are saying that probably this bar is being set so low so that more women can get into technology, I think that at the end of the day affects your ability to work well and to believe in yourself at the end of the day, just because all these programs exist. So I want to tell you that if you're ever in a place and someone is telling you that just you got into technology just because there was you got through a certain program that is supporting women, do not believe them when they say that you are not good enough. It just means that the different exposure that they had and the one that you're getting right now are just at two different levels, and we just need to get more and more women.
You're on mute, Margaret.
I cannot believe I've been speaking for an entire minute.
No, you were actually off. I don't know what happened in between.
Oh, wow. Okay, so yes, so I was saying that if anyone tells you that you're not good enough just because you came through a program that was basically set up for women, do not believe them. It's just that we are overcoming obstacles that have been set there for decades of unsupported, of women not getting supported, and so it's our time to shine. So you must feel as good enough as any other person that you're in with the space that you're joining. So keep joining all these women empowerment movements, keep building networks with other women, because that is how you will keep being good, and you will keep sharing experiences and learning more about what it is to be a woman in technology. And so you will improve on that. Definitely. Yeah, thank you.
So thank you for that, Margaret. And, just back to your point about these programs that are being put in place for women to actually empower themselves. And I get your point around people talking about, you're a quota hire, or I don't know, you're getting this job because they're trying to fill the roles for women in the company. And I know a lot of us face that, in the workplace. And it's important, what you're saying about knowing that it's your time, whether you're coming in through a program that fills a quota, what will set you apart is what you do once you get there, right? Are you going to just sit there and be a quota hire, or are you going to actually prove and show that you actually earned this, even though you were hired through that program? And there's so much, there's so much we can just get into in terms of the challenges or the triumphs that we women are still going to accomplish in this industry. But I would just like to thank you, ladies, for coming in and for speaking to us. And just from my side, one thing that I just want to share in terms of my journey in this industry is just the concept of mentorship. I know we did not necessarily get a chance to speak about that, but a lot of us would not have gotten where we are today if we didn't have other women looking out for us and mentoring us and sponsoring us and helping us just to see the light. And I'll reiterate this point again: hold the torch for another woman. If you've been here, if you've had the platform, lift as you rise, right? We don't have to be the only ones who've done it, but we could actually make sure that we open space for those who come after us to actually come in and make sure that they take the baton forward. And thank you once more for all the ladies who are with us on this call. And I would just like to hand over back to Joy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maudi. Thank you, Chioma. Thank you, Margaret. Just like the first session, I didn't want this to end too, but for time, we have to move faster. Thank you very, very much for such a wonderful time. I actually been taking notes, and really, I'm going to put this into. So one thing I actually learned is that motivation is like taking a bath, right? But I want to change the topic. Like, acquiring the digital skills is like taking a bath. You have to do it every day. So I want to change that, right? So take this out of this meeting. You have to do it every day to get used to it, to actually get something out of it. You don't just start and stop. I know that many of us on this call that, might have started at some point and quit. So please pick up your strides. You can still do it. I saw on the chat this lady that says she's 33 and she's learning Python. Don't worry, like, I know it's really very, very difficult, right? But speak to someone about it. Try your best, push yourself, and I bet you when you do that, at the end of the day, you would be thankful that you actually did. So again, hold the torch for other women by inviting them for the next open day event. Follow us on social media so you get wind of the information. Okay, so I'll just run through the Women Techsters program activities, and then I'll invite Chigozie Paul to make the announcements on the com side. Yeah, shout out again to our boosters on the call. Hey, Women Texted boosters, how are you? Check your mail, you've got mail. Check your junk, check your spam. If you attended orientation, even if you didn't, the link to join your learning track is actually in that mail, contain that mail, so check your email. So I'll say about the programs. We have different programs. I see you all, like EMEA, I see you all. We have the open day, which we have every month. It's virtual, so you can join from anywhere. You can even be lying on your bed. You don't have to turn on your video if you're not speaking. So just join, click on the link, register, and get the link to join the call. And you learn about the stories of women that have gone ahead of you, right? You also learn about how they started, the flaws, the key points in their career, their milestones, and how they're able to achieve these milestones. And the lessons are so much, right? If you're taking notes, there's so much to learn. And these are women that on a normal day, you can't just stop them and talk to them because they're very, very busy, or you have to pay heavily for a session with them. So please attend an open day event. Even though you might have built a career in tech, please still attend. You could learn one or two things that would help you stay encouraged. Yeah, so we create awareness about the opportunities in tech every month through the open day event. We have a bootcamp program, Women Techster boosters in the building. So the bootcamp is a 2-week intensive training that takes you from novice to it helps you lay the foundation into tech, right? There are 5 tracks you could pick from. There's cybersecurity, there's product design, there's software development, there's data science and AI, there's product management. You could apply for any of our bootcamps. Follow us on social media. I can't overemphasize this. Follow us on social media. We do not hoard the information. We post it on our social media handles, right? And you get to join any of this program, the bootcamp program. We have different cohorts. The 3rd cohort is already starting. We've done our orientation today, and class is already beginning, right? And right now for the bootcamp, you can actually join a weekend class or join a weekday class. So your timing is not a barrier. Maybe you might be working and you don't really have enough time to, take a morning class. You could join the weekend class. So, well, don't wait too long. Follow us on social media. It's 2 weeks. It's going to be very, very, very worth your time. It's an opportunity to develop the relevant skills you need to, jumpstart your career and build upon. I saw a question on the chat saying that I went through a boot camp. I'm registered on the boot camp and I don't know what to do after the boot camp. Keep learning. You've heard Chioma, you've heard Margaret. One day, an opportunity will show forth, and then you'll be, able to meet the opportunity. If you haven't received any mail, just hold on. Mails are still dropping. Your mail will come in. Okay, we have our master classes. Our master classes are every month. We have professionals that are experts in the different learning tracks, right? take a topic and teach the topic very well, because they actually know the topic very well, and they'll teach you, take a deep dive into the topic and teach you very well to become proficient in that particular topic. So these masterclasses are for females with entry-level job roles or people that already have a foundation, you know, not newbies. So if you know, maybe you're a software developer, or you've been learning for a while now, attending the masterclass will help sharpen your skills in a certain aspect. There we have our fellowship program. Our fellowship is year-long, is very robust. During the fellowship, you learn soft skills, you learn technical skills for 4 months, and after learning phase, you get to go on internship, right? And then after, not only that, you get to be paired with people that are, you know, professionals, industry experts, right, to mentor you. So it's actually very extensive. If you have a foundation in tech, like you've been doing tech for a while now, fellowship is something that I would recommend for you. It's not for newbies, right? You need a certain level of experience and foundation to attend our fellowship, because it's very, very rigorous. it's very rigorous, right? And so those are 4 programs under the Women Techsters initiative. So look out for these. The next fellowship is holding next year, and we are going into more countries by next year. I'm excited about that. I know you're excited too. So now I'm handing over to my colleague. She's on the call, and she has a very beautiful smile. Her name is Chigozie Paul. Okay, before I do that, you can see some questions on the chat. Let me try and attempt to answer them. So I said, for the boosters, if you haven't received the mail, please kindly wait. It's dropping. We're still sending it. You receive it before the end of the day. Can we attend the fellowship after taking part in the bootcamp? Absolutely, yes. And I didn't mention this. These programs I mentioned are free of charge. You don't have to pay to participate in any of the Women Techsters program. Yeah. The opportunities available for you that pass through the bootcamp is the one that we have, is a fellowship, but there are other fellowships out there you could also apply for, right? That's an opportunity. And like they say, learning never ends. How was the transition from software? Oh, that question. So in case you didn't get the chance to, your question didn't get answered, please look out for these ladies on social media, our speakers. Try to shoot them let's say an email on LinkedIn, for instance, or follow them up. Yeah, you could then have a chance to ask your question. Just tell them that I attended the Women Techsters Open Day. That's your key, right? And then you continue that way. Okay, now I'm going to call my colleague Chigozie Paul. Chigozie Paul is on the call. Hi, Chigozie. Please.
Hi, Joy.
Hi, good evening.
Hi, Joy. Good evening, Joy. Good evening, everyone. Okay, so I'm really glad you could make it to the Women Techsters Open Day November edition. I am so glad you are here today, and I'm sure that you had an amazing time, because I did. Joy already made the major announcements about our program, so right about now I'll be sharing our social media handles in the chat session for you to follow us, and then follow us, and then I'm sure you learned a lot of things in today's open day. Please share as much as you learned on social media and tag us so we can reshare. It's been an amazing time. Please share the nuggets learned. Please share as much as you learned. You can give us a shout out, invite your friends to the next edition of the open day. We look forward to seeing you. Thank you so much. Have an amazing evening.
Thank you, Chigozie, and thanks everyone. So, ciao. Have an amazing evening and take care of yourself and keep developing yourself to become women in tech. Bye. Thanks to all our speakers too. Thank you, Maudi. I still see you on the call. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
Thanks. Bye.